What's up, class? This is Mr. Whitby, and today we will be going over natural environments. So our objective for today is the students will be able to explain how the environment and life are interconnected and exist in a fragile balance. All right, so let's go and look at the assessment questions for today. What I need you guys to do is pause the video right here and write these questions down. All right, so number one, what is an ecosystem? And what are two examples of an ecosystem? Number two, how do nature and people change ecosystems? Number three, why can plants and animals not live everywhere? Number four, what is humus and why is it important to soil? Number five, what actions can cause desertification and what might be some possible effects? Number six, what is important for geographers and scientists? Why is it important for geographers and scientists to study soil? Okay, so let's go ahead and begin and jump into this lesson. Okay, so our first word is environment. And the environment is the surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant lives or operates. And you guys see the picture. So on one side, we have the desert. On the other side, we have grass. What is the environment's limit on life? The environment limits life. Factors such as temperature, rainfall, soil conditions limit where plants, animals, and even people can live. Plants, animals, and peoples have adapted to specific environments. So let's go ahead and look at the first bullet. It says the environment limits life. Factors such as temperature, rainfall, soil conditions limit where people, animals, and plants, people, and animals live. So if you look at the picture right here, you have an area that it looks desert-like. So then you have over here, you have a place with a lot of grass. If you look at the picture, which place would be easier to live in and why? All right, think to yourself. So as you guys know, it would be much more difficult to live in a desert because of the lack of water, and the soil isn't very good. First off, all living things need water to exist because water is one of the most important and essential things to our existence. We need water to drink. Oftentimes, there are other animals by water. So water is a good source of food. All right, ecosystem. The interconnections between living things and the environments form ecosystem. An ecosystem is a group of plants and animals that depend on each other for survival and the environment in which they live. A garden, pond, a city park, and a prairie and a rainforest are all examples of an ecosystem. So an ecosystem is a location that has pretty much a lot of things that coexist together. So if you guys see, you have a picture that's an example of an ecosystem. You have the sun, which gives us sunlight. You have termite mounds, you have trees, you have insects, you have different type of animals, bacterias, you have water, then you have bacteria, and then other very small living organisms. Also, you have fungi. You also have different types of trees, plants. And so in an ecosystem, everything coexists. And once one thing is taken out of an ecosystem, that can affect everything else dramatically. So with that being said, we'll go to changes to the environment. So interconnected parts of an ecosystem exist in a fragile balance. Therefore, a small change to one part can affect the whole system. So think about how each would affect our ecosystem. So let's say that we all pretty much live in an ecosystem. And let's say you live in an ecosystem with a lot of trees. If there was a fire or a wildfire, how might that wildfire change your ecosystem if you lived in an ecosystem with a lot of trees? Go ahead, think about that and formulate an answer. If you stated that a lot of the vegetation, trees, plants, and even animals could be destroyed, killed, or whatnot because of that fire, you're correct. And that would have a profound effect on your ecosystem. It could even affect you, displace you. You'd have to move and find another ecosystem. Actions that affect ecosystem, kind of jumping in based on what I just said. Many actions can affect the ecosystem. For example, people need places to live and food to eat, so they clear lands for homes and farms. Clearing land has consequences. It can cause soil to erode, and it kills off or displace plants and animals. Changes to an environment can destroy habitats. Extreme changes in the ecosystems can cause species of animals and plants to die out or become extinct. So the word extinct is another word for animals that die out to where they no longer exist. So basically what this is saying is that our actions as human beings to our ecosystem, even the actions of what, like just weather phenomenon, can cause the ecosystem to change. It could throw off the balance within the ecosystem, and it could destroy certain forms of life in that area. One of the most destructive changes that can happen in the ecosystem is to the soil. So plants are a basis of food for all animals. Soil helps to determine the plants that will grow. Soil supports plant life, therefore it plays an important role in the environment. Fertile soils are rich in minerals and humus, or decayed plants or animal matter. And if you look at this, when we look at this vocabulary word, humus, or decayed plant or animal matter, this is one of the things that adds minerals and pretty much like vitamins to the soil. So without this, the soil doesn't really replenish itself. So the decaying of plants and animal matter actually helps the soil to be I guess add nutrients, and helps the soil survive and maintains its richness. So how can soil lose its fertility? Soil can lose its fertility in several ways. You have erosion from wind and or water, which can sweep the topsoils away. One thing that human beings tend to do, we tend to overplant the same crops. So whenever you're planting crops, you have to rotate the crops. So you have to plant different crops at different times to ensure that that one crop doesn't drain the nutrients from the topsoil and make it useless. So overplanting. So if we just planted if we just planted corn in the same place every year for five to 10 years, eventually corn is going to destroy the soil and ensure that the soil loses fertility, because it's going to take out a lot of the nutrients, but it's not going to replenish the nutrients that the soil needs. The wearing out of soil can cause desertification or a spread of desert-like conditions. And if we can go back, this right here is an example or a picture of desertification. Okay, soil levels. So let's look at soil levels. So at the very top, we have the organic layer, which is pretty much our grass or different plants. Then we have the topsoil, and this is where we have rich minerals because of humus. We have the elevation layer. We have subsoil. we have the parent rock, and then we have at the very bottom the bedrock. All right, and so that's our lecture for today. Let's go ahead and go back to our section assessment and see if we can answer these questions and submit the answers to these. If you guys are having any questions or are having difficulty answering the questions, you can look within your book on, let me see, on pages 62 through 65 to get more information on this section.